When I celebrate my life celebrates me. You want to say, I love it when you scream like that. Ooh, like, yeah! Okay. Shall we say it together? When I celebrate my life celebrates me. Turn around and tell somebody I'm going to celebrate today. Celebrating my life today. Oh, yeah. One of the greatest principles of all time. When you celebrate your life celebrates you. You're free from judgment, from fear, from concern, from holding back, because you celebrate your life. Your life celebrates you. There's a story, you can shout in the back too, I love that. Ow! No, anyway. Okay. Yeah, I could go many places, but I'm going to just stay right here. Okay, so all that said, there's a story about a tractor-trailer that's going through a small southern town, and he looks at the bridge, and he doesn't get it, that his big old rig won't fit under the bridge. So he's driving under it, and he just becomes stuck there. And people are gathering, and engineers and local townspeople are coming in trying to help. Like, what do we do? You know, he literally can't move that big old rig. And so a young man says over to the side, why don't you deflate the tires? Brilliant, right? Had to be a Unity person, no doubt about it. So deflated the tires, and then they were able to move that big tractor trailer. That's what Laura Day says happens to all of us along life's path. I've certainly have known it to happen in my life, and through either coaching or teaching other people for 30 years now, I have observed the same, is that we get involved into a new way of thinking. We have an aha moment. We have an epiphany. We change something. We change the way we're able to look at something for the first time in a very long time. And all of a sudden, these incredible celebratory kind of things start happening into our lives. And we're just on this forward momentum, you know? And then the next thing we know, wow, something unexpected just goes. Have you had that happen to you? And you're like, but I was enjoying this, but I was on a roll, but I thought I had met, my right and perfect mate. I thought my health, I thought I had accomplished this. I thought that was behind me. I thought I had done that already. Whoa, and now I'm in a low. I'm deflated. Trust me, I can make these stories work, okay? I'm now deflated, and I'm stuck. I've been stuck in this place. And that is part to know that when these moments happen, it's not to allow it to stop us. It's not to allow us to not keep moving forward with that inertia. More than ever, in the midst of those times, we need to celebrate our lives so our lives will celebrate us. So you're aware of the feelings, you're aware of how the discomfort, you're not denying anything, you're not in denial, but your affirmative self knows that now that you are kind of stuck on the bridge, that something big is coming your way. Can you feel that? Because that is very important and very crucial, because that's where most people stop. Most people stop. Principles do not change, regardless of circumstances. For example, be ye in the world, but not of the world. Right? Yes, be ye in the world. Enjoy being a human being. That's what you're here to do. That's what I'm here to do. But not of the world. Don't get hooked. Don't walk around with this big old hook on top of your head. How you doing? Well, I'm doing pretty good. I've been watching too much news, so oh my God. Our world, I don't know about our world. I'm just our world. Don't be of that. Do not be of that. They said the same thing in the 1800s. There were just different things occurring, you see. Romans 12:2 tells us very clearly, it says, do not conform to the way of the world. Do you know that one? But what does it ask us to do? Don't conform to the patterns of the world, right? Don't conform. If you're a teenager, don't get caught up in that one educational system that may not be exactly all that you need. Don't conform to just your friends that you hang out with. Seek other people that you want to grow towards. Do not conform just to the world that you see in front of you, but it asks us to be then transformed. How? By the renewal of our minds. Be you transformed by the renewal of your mind, and therefore you will be able to discern God's will for you and be able to clearly see that which is good, which is just, and which is prosperous. Isn't that exciting? It doesn't grow old. That principle still applies just as much today as it did whenever. And that's what we are called to be about and for. Dan Rather was very excited when he was interviewing Mother Teresa. And he said to her, he said, tell me about it. When you pray and everything, what do you say to God? And she said, I listen. And he said, well, when, God talks to you, what does God say? And she said, he listens. There is something very rich about the intuitive faculty that in the spiritual life, it's like Carole King says in her song, I feel the earth move under my feet. Right? Remember that? I'm not going to sing it. I feel the sky come tumbling down. Right? And I just lose control. I lose control. Down where? To my very soul. Yes. I feel the earth move under my feet. I feel the sky come tumbling down, and I lose control to my very soul. That's like one of the wisest songs ever written. I tried to get in touch with her yesterday, but it didn't work out because I wanted to ask her what she was actually thinking. I'm just seeing if you're listening, that's all. There's a lot of wisdom in that because that's really the richness of our teaching, because the more you're into this practice, the more your intuitive faculty continues to expand. Heaven, certainly for us in Unity, is not a place of real estate anyway. It's not the ultimate place we go to with pearls and gold and we work stuff out. That's not, in our own opinion, what heaven is. Heaven is a state of consciousness. Right? But the more you're into this practice, you come to realize that your dreams and your heaven consciousness and walking the earth, they're no longer that distant from each other. They actually become one reality. Can you hold that? And that becomes like your daily ritual of understanding just how interwoven they both are. Because that's when you're at that space, you really do lose control. You don't want control because you realize you'll be in your way. You want to let it go. So the very soul, like Becca's song says, so your soul may really realize what it's for. Most struggle comes from us being in our own way. Yep. So that said, for me, it's like learning the difference between my way and the highway. Because I've kicked many doors, like, why is it happening? Why didn't this happen? When's it going to come? What's it going to do? What does it take? I don't understand it. I've been doing everything I can. I imagine a few of you have been doing that too, right? You don't have to raise your hand, just nod your head, So, I got this and I that and why and here I am and blah, blah, But for me, it's like I get exhilarated about the highest way that's going to work out. That's really literally what intuition is. Intuition is the knowing of what you don't know. It's amazing. It's beyond, as Steve Jobs would say, it's beyond the power of intellect. And because you're going on a feeling, a sense, and you have no scientific proof of it whatsoever. And hindsight is usually when you can look back and go, yeah, that's what that was about. That's why that occurred in that way. It's a tremendous gift, and it's like a muscle the more we use it, the more we have it. And the more we work with it. I remember many years ago, I was in my mind, I worked for Michelin Tire, and in my mind, because of certain things that had happened in my own intuition, I really got clear that I was going to get this huge, big advancement and this brand new job. And intuitively, I felt it, and I was having it in my dreams. And I knew they were getting ready to start interviewing the person for that job. And I was clear it was for me. I was getting that from everywhere. And nobody called. Nobody wrote. There was no memo. And I'm like, something's wrong. And my intuition said, something really is wrong. So I went to the HR department. I mean, we had, 2,000 or 3,000 employees. It's not like, So I went to the HR department and I said, I understand there's this job and I don't understand because I feel like I'm qualified for it and nobody's contacted me. And she said, I don't really know what to say to you other than your department head has put something in your file that's very negative about you because he didn't want to lose you in his department. Whoa. I know. That's what I said, kind of different than, whoa. I wasn't as involved as I've been working with all of you and getting, But I highlight that to you because, intuition is call my friend or telepathy or, intuition is a gut feeling. But there are times that life is really wanting to give you a message about something that's very significant for you at that particular moment. And it's important that you listen to it and that you will follow through on it. 3 years ago, I was going to Brazil with a group here. And I contacted the group like 2 weeks before leaving, and I said, I need to apologize to you. You were there. I need to apologize to you. I'm not feeling that I'm not called to go. And they were, what? But you're the leader of the group. You have to go. And I said, I am the leader of the group, and if I tell you to honor your intuition, I got to honor mine. And so I didn't go. And 2 days later, Reverend Allen, our minister emeritus, his wife died. And that's why I didn't go, so I could be here. You see, these things all come together for our highest and best good, that we continue to evolve forward with our life. Laura Day said very clearly, she made the comment this week, and it's throughout the material that we're looking at working with the circle. She said, the biggest disservice we do to other people and ourselves, when we think of healing or change, we project onto them that they will get to be back to who they used to be. God is not a Maytag repairman or woman, not Band-Aids, not tape, not mending something, but those kind of things, that pure substance of love happens purely in the moment of right now. So I'm never holding a space that somebody will get their life back the way they used to, or couples will mend and be happy like they used to be, because there is no used to be. That's not the law. The law is operating here and now. Eric Butterworth said that is the purest form of intuition, is when you are in the now moment and you are clarifying and you're reading that energetic field and you know that it is absolutely happening because you are current in all of your reality for yourself and for others. We don't want to pray a world to be like the world that we used to have when we all watched Leave It to Beaver and we had 3 TV stations. We don't want that world. We want the world we're in now, affirming and calling in. When I celebrate the world celebrates me. I want to bring in a different kind of reality, not in denial, but in an energetic field. Is this relating to you at all? So, part of the fact that with intuition, in order to really grow one's intuition, there's a big kind of caveat. There's a thing about that. You have to give up what people think of you. You can no longer be into the energy of what will people think of me when I do whatever this is. You have to be free from that altogether and let that go. And your intuition over time will bring you to a greater sense of being congruent also. And you will learn that what you say and what you live are the same. And that really requires that inner listening and that inner power and that inner essence, you know? It's like people get so upset when they say, oh, this person's an atheist, you know? And I go, isn't that wonderful? And they look at me and they go, well, that person doesn't believe in God. I said, well, why don't you talk to that person? Because more than likely you will understand that person does believe in God. They just don't believe in the God they were taught about. And may I also say that atheists talk about God a whole lot more than people that say they love God. So let them be the promoter, okay? Let's give them a big hand, you know? So in this space of connection, there's also, when we think about language, I often think about, I was telling Bibi about this the other day. I said, you know, most people think that a dog has one language and it's called barking. And a cat has one language and they meow. And it's very interesting that we don't know better still in the 21st century that dogs have several different languages. They are some of the most intuitive, and cats, I mean, they know you're coming home before you even think about coming home. They know what you're buying or not buying for them for food at the grocery store. I mean, they are extremely intuitive, you know, very much so. Or they figure out real quick wrong home and they act out so they can get out of there. I'm just saying. And that's a different talk for a different Sunday. But people really do think, you know, dogs just bark. And then when dogs are out walking and barking at other dogs, then the parents start barking too. Have you ever noticed that? The people, so the dogs are barking and the people are barking and everybody's barking then. But they're not barking, they're talking. They're communicating. They're communicating about something that's happened to them during the week or how proud they are to have the parents they do, and they're kind of embarrassed because they're barking. So it's, we too, I know, you got to make whatever point you can, you know, you got to get in there. But we as humans, in our own ability, you know, intuition is our greatest language. It's beyond our five senses, like I said. It's beyond what we hear. It's beyond what we speak. It's this whole field of knowing that we are always right where we are supposed to be, exactly in the moment that we are there in spirit. It's a beautiful, rich kind of connection. But we let go of opinions of the world and we learn to be following our own inner guidance. So a man dies and he goes to the pearly gates and St. Peter is there. And St. Peter says, you know, I'm looking at your records and, you know, you haven't really done a whole lot in your life significantly. You haven't really been too good and you haven't really been too bad. And the guy goes, well, I don't know, what do you want me to say? And he said, well, could you give me an example of something you've done lately that's heroic or something? And he said, well, yeah, there was a time, he said, I was driving down the road and I saw a bunch of people bullying on this guy. And he said, I pulled the car over and I got the bat out of my trunk. And he said, and I walked over there and I asked to speak to the ringleader. And the guy came up to me and he was very, you know, had a lot of muscle and everything. And I told him, that's not okay what y'all are doing and it's unacceptable. And St. Peter said, well, when was that? And he said, it was about 3 minutes ago. Learn not to be reactive in life, but listen to your own instincts and your own intuition. Thank you for coming. God bless you. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Thank you.